Happy Easter, everyone! Well, hello there, or Moin, as we say here in northern Germany, and welcome to Stitch-Ilonka. My name is Ilonka, and you meet me here in the northern part of Germany, near Hanover, and you've reached me here on my channel all about cross-stitching and sometimes crochet, and also this time a bit of history about stitching and our local traditions, let's say. And yeah, I think we can start off right away. I'm going to give you a short overview, a brief overview of what's going to happen today. I have a few finishes that I can show you. You already see them on top there. And I've worked a bit on some whips, but I have to say real life, like offline life, has been quite busy lately, and that's why I haven't filmed in some time, and I haven't stitched as much. But nevertheless, I got some wonderful presents from a friend of mine here in our local village with some stitching, very old stitching that I am, you know, really excited to show you. And yeah, so let's just dive on in, shall we? So I'm gonna put the names of the patterns and designers on the screen because I don't remember every single one. You know this already. This is from Blackbird Design, Spell of the Moon. I remember that, on a 25 count even weave, hand dyed by Esther. There are a lot of things actually on fabric hand dyed by Esther. I'm gonna point them out. This was the freebie by Anthony Galbraith last year for as a tribute sale for Ukraine. This is Erica Michael, Stitch All the Things, stitched on 16 count with a hand dyed on a hand dyed fabric by Esther as well. Also these two. This one is also from the October 3rd. Is actually October 31st from the Blackbird Design book. The Lighthouse was gifted to me by Esther on a shiny, sparkly fabric. This one was the very first thing that I've ever stitched that I got from Etsy. It's actually a whole sampler, like Marvel character sampler. Not a lot on Etsy. This was the tribute sale when Queen Elizabeth passed, with that little charm here that I bought at our stitch meeting in Essen, on a fabric that I bought on fur on vacation. This one is actually a finished piece, finally finished, that was gifted to me by Amber Rogue Mama Stitcher. I put the name of the designer on screen. Do you see the sparkle in the fabric? Oh, this is just so gorgeous, and it worked out so fine. It's in a simple IKEA frame that I got here. Those two have shown you already. A project that I did with a friend of mine who's also a floss tuber, that we sent each other the half-stitched projects, and then we completed it. The Move Forward in Love part that I did. An older one that I finished a long time ago, but I think I haven't shown you before. This was a picture frame from IKEA. Actually, it's just two pieces of wood with a clam on top and on the bottom, and then you can, you know, you have the ability to put very long pieces in there, and I like that. Resting stitch face on a very simple IKEA frame, but I think it's actually a bit crooked. Well, anyway. And then I also finally finished, I'm going to show you the other ones first. This is the Biscornu that I have been working on for quite some time. And I stitched this on a linen that is very loose, so it was a pain really to do the line stitching, like the back stitch on it. And so I decided to abandon this the bottom part of the stitching and then just put a piece of fabric underneath and complete it that way. And I put a colorful button in the middle, also on the bottom, and I think it looks rather cool. This was from JustPlaneJen on Etsy. And I also finished the Please Enter Your Pin. This was a freebie from, I put it on the screen. And I finally finished it into a pin cushion with just some matching fabric and put a handle on it as well. This one was a gift from a friend of mine that is already done. Yeah, that's how far I am. I'm gonna see if I can, yeah, that's nice. So this is the wall right now. Oh, and I don't know if I've shown you these inventory sheets already, but I made some kind of inventory sheets for my folder with a place for the pattern name, the designer, where I sourced it, how big it is, how many stitches there are, and when I bought it, which fabric I use, which threads I use, and the status. So if I have the pattern floss fabric already, if it's kitted up already, if it's a whip, and if it's finished or if it's fully finished. I actually need to complete these. Wait. FO. Okay, and then I have some place for, I have a place for some notes. So if it was a present or if I restarted it or anything, and then I have a start date, an end date, and an FFO date. So this one is the one of the Star Trek patterns. I don't know if you're watching Picard season 3. Please let me know if you like it. I mean, I wasn't too fond of season 1 and 2, I have to admit, but season 3 is just amazing. It's so full of member berries, as South Park might put it, but I just love it. The story is cool. Seeing all the old characters again is cool. Yeah, season 3 is definitely for me. So this was a quote by Data from season 1 of The Next Generation, and it is from HappySlothPatterns on Etsy, and it has been finished. As you know, I can easily see it here. So I started this on the 21st of March 2022, and I finished it in May of 2022, but now I have only finished it like a year later with this fabric that I had lying around that wonderfully matched the stitching, and then I just put a zipper down here and filled it with some fluff that actually is from a very cheap IKEA pillow, like a very cheap pillow. So if you're looking for cheap fluff to stuff your cushions with or your finishes with, then I would definitely recommend that. So these were the finishes. Speaking of whips and speaking of Picard, have you also been following the new Mandalorian series, the latest? I'm not sure how I feel about that, and I feel like the tie-ins between all the Star Wars series that we have had lately is a bit clunky. It's a bit clunky, but nevertheless, it's Star Wars. It's wonderful. I like Pedro Pascal. I like the current season, and I'm quite interested to see how the Ahsoka series will turn out once it's there. So anyway, this inspired me to work on my ATAT walker again by Awesome Pattern Studios. Not a very lot has happened, but I have been completing the dish over here. I filled in some spots here on the top, and I finally filled in the palm down here. It's actually not really well, there are still a lot of stitches left. I'm at like 50%, I guess, or 48%. And once you really sit down and work on it, it's quite quick because first of all, there are a lot of same colors. As you can see here, there's just one single color. And I'm stitching 2 over 1/10 stitch or half stitch on a 25 count fabric. And from here, it's the coverage is okay, but if you move closer, No, it doesn't focus, so it's not that bad. But I would have hoped for a thicker coverage, especially for the darker parts, but once it's finished and it's hanging on the wall, it's probably not really visible that much. So yeah, that's a bit of stitching that I did. But what else I have been working on is the From the Heart Needle Art monthly Quakers, and I have colossally been failing on them because I've been starting them, you know, at the beginning of the month that it's for. Like I started this one at the beginning of February, and that's actually how far I've got for now. It's stitched on a permin linen, very stiff 35 count permin linen with some floss that I got from a Swiss dyer, Color Fever she's called, and you can get her stuff on Etsy. I love the very subtle variegation on the pink, and the green has got a very heavy variegation, but I think it's also very, very nice. But as you can see, I didn't make it, I couldn't finish it, so I might be putting this off until next January, when I will start playing catch up with with finishing these monthly Quakers, because shown you the January last time, this is February, and I got all of the colors and fabric for March, and this is how far I am. Yeah, okay, so March, that's all that happened. But now I've changed my tactics, and because I saw many people, you know, stitching March in February, so that the March Quaker would be finished in February, so that you would be able to display them in March. And I never thought about that, but yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? So I skipped the April month completely and will focus, wait, it's gonna be and will focus on the May Quaker for now. I ordered the Classic Colorworks flosses, and I think I'm gonna stitch them on this beautiful sparkly hand-dyed fabric from Esther again. How do you see the sparkle? I think it's an 18 or a 16 or 18 count, I don't know. It should be 18 count, because then they all would have the same size, so that I can just swap them out in a picture frame. That's at least my idea. But I haven't finished a single one yet, so I've got a lot of ideas. So yeah, wish me luck. It's the 8th of April now, today, and we're gonna have a few free days still of you know, the Easter celebrations. So I might be, I mean, I've already, you know, kitted it up with a frame and needle minders and scissors and everything. So I could theoretically start right after finishing this video. So that has been more or less all that I have stitched lately, and I can tell you why I have been stitching so little. Because I have been volunteering a lot. Since I've been back here in my village, I have been, you know, I've been asked to participate in some voluntary work that and which I love doing. It was a wonderful opportunity for me to get to know these people again, and to, you know, do something meaningful, and to find my footing again. And I also have been trying to establish my, not just trying to, but I am establishing my self-employment here as a counselor, and there are a few over-regional projects that I want to work on as well. So I've been kind of, in Germany we say, oh,
hello, hola, guten Tag, ni hao, konnichiwa, bonjour, buenos dias, salve, brevid, sprich aus aller Welt, sings from around the world. Hello, hola, guten Tag, ni hao, konnichiwa, bonjour, buenos dias, brevid.
So in Germany we say Klinken putzen, which the word for word translation is to polish doorknobs. like you're going from door to door, knocking and you know, opening the latch, opening the doors, to say hello and to introduce yourself and do everything. And you know, like doing this networking, yeah, today it's called networking, I guess, like not literally going from door to door, but going to networking, like going to events to see if you meet new people and to, yeah, to do networking. And we in Germany, we call it cleaning doorknobs or polishing doorknobs. Is there something like that? Is there a similar expression in your language? Please let me know in the comments. So that's a nice thing. I wasn't planning on doing anything for that, but you see, it just happens naturally. So anyway, I've been doing a lot of networking, but not really, you know, it wasn't really like gathering your business cards and putting on some nice dress and just go out to special events for that, but really just going to our church choir, volunteering in our community here, and just meeting new people. And these people here in our village are so very well, you know, kind of, they know everyone else, and they just pick up the phone and call people and then just forward telephone numbers and everything. And I already am in touch with with someone who is here in our local museum. That is a museum for our traditional garments and the traditions that we kept up a few hundred years back until recently with our traditional garments. And if you remember, I made a video about our traditional garments here in our region. So it's not Dirndl and Lederhosen, as you might expect, but some different type of traditional garments. And it's still on my old channel, but I will link to the video below. So if you're interested in that, you can hop over and watch this video as well, because I'm really going into a deep dive of how the intricate stitching on our garments was, and how many layers the garments had and everything. So that's beside the point. So I got to know someone who is very very involved in this whole traditional garments thing, and she got a woman recently passed away last year, and her relatives had a huge package with shirts and stitchings and everything, and all of these things, and they gave the whole package to her. And amongst those things, there were a few cross-stitch items, and she said, I don't really know what to do with them. Do you want them? And I said, yes, please. So I am very happy to be able to show you some very local stitchings. At the bottom it says Lente, which is a village here somewhere, 8th of July, and the name of the stitcher was Sophie Riechers. And this is what it looks like. As you would expect, a lot of letters, flowers. Unfortunately, the yellow, I suppose it was yellow or gold thread, sorry. Gonna flip it over here. It was a lot of yellow or gold thread that she used, and unfortunately, they kind of bleached out. They're not as visible as they are supposed to be. But nevertheless, I was very, I have been watching, of course, Jacob's videos a lot, and also all of the Vierlande samplers that have similar symbols on them, but I haven't seen this type of heart before. Also, this type of bird with the cap on is different. There's I suppose a lamb, a tree, and I am not really sure what this is. Jacob, if you're watching and you have got an idea what this is, I sometimes would think it is a candle, or it is a stack of hay, or I have no idea what this is. So yeah, and also what is very interesting is that although it is very ancient and it is a German sampler, so I would have guessed that we would see the long S and some letters that are not common anymore, but they are not on this sampler. But I can see that GHI, the J is missing, also the Y is missing, although on some fonts the Y is there. But for this font, for example, the J is also missing. So yeah, it's a very interesting mixture of things. And it says 1856 on here. And I am not too sure because it says Sophie Riches, but there are, that's a different letter. I suppose it says that's an L. And the other one, I don't know. Is it an F? Or is it also an S? Maybe these are the initials? I don't know, but still. I see if I can chart this as well, but you know, it's really hard to tell, especially these very light bleached out parts here. Let me show you the back side. Yeah, not that neat, is it? I still don't know what this is. Or is it some kind of temple? Like some kind of building? I don't know. I need to talk to you, Jacob. This is one, and in my video about the traditional German garments, not German, garments that we have here in our local community, and when I made this video, I had 3 dolls who were wearing our traditional garments, and I named these 3 dolls Angel, Sophie, Marie, because my father told me that these 3 first names for women were so very common that one family who had 3 girls named all of these 3 girls Sophie, Angel, Marie, or Angel, Sophie, Marie, Engel, Maria, Sophia, Angel, Marie, Sophie. And the first one was called Engel, and the second one was called Sophie, and the third one was called Marie, but they all had all 3 first names. And now that I have the next stitching here, this woman is called Engel Maria Hasemann. So Angel Marie Hare Man, or Rabbit Man, 1885. Sophie, who gave me these stitchings, said that they were very, like the fabric was very yucky and yellow and everything. So she kind of cooked it very, very hot and tried to wash it. And it came out glowing, wonderful, beautiful colors, like this. And I just think this is very, very, very beautiful. Very, as you might expect, in one color, in red, very royal. So I live in a very agriculturally active, is that right? No, it's a farming heavy villages here around me. And we had, or still have, very huge houses that you would have been able to drive a lorry into, like when you harvest hay or vegetables or anything, so that you can drive the lorry right into the house and then from there distribute everything. But when this wasn't necessary anymore, people integrated this huge hallway, if you will, into their housings, and that was called the Diele. So right when you open the front door, you would have this long, huge hallway from where the other rooms would, you know, go off. Like the good dining room and the normal dining room, the kitchen, everything. And within this huge front porch, not porch, like the hallway, the huge hallway, you would have had some decorative things to show off your prosperity, let's say, or your wealth. And for farmers, this was often a few pieces of really, really expensive linen. This is one of those linens. It's probably 100 years old, maybe even older. It's very, very, very dense and heavy, really heavy. And so they had these, and they had different motifs in there, different patterns, white on white, and they would also have like tablecloths and other things in this very pattern. And this is just a huge banner of, let's say, like 6 feet. It would have had hangers here, like linen hangers, so that you would have been able to put them up on the wall. And then it's just 2 meters of this heavy linen. And then at the bottom, you would have some panels that you would have been able to kind of accessorize yourself in the way that, you know, whatever happens within your family history. It's not an accessorization for, let's say, spring, summer, autumn, and winter, but very kind of the seasons of the family, if you will, like births and funerals or weddings, you know, something like that. So this is the bottom part. It's got a crocheted, filet crocheted rim on the bottom, and then you have these panels up here, and this is a stramen piece of cloth, so it's very open, very loose. And this is a we don't really know what this is for, because the sibling, the relatives didn't really know what this was for, but we assume that this was what Wilhelmine Bolte stitched when she was like maybe had her confirmation when she was a young girl, like 16, 17, 18 years old, before she got married. She was born in 1921, and you see how wonderfully colorful this stitching is. So not subtle at all. And you have this kind of rim around it. And you would have this on all of these panel stitchings so that you can easily swap them out. This is just stitched on there with a simple stitch, so that you can, you know, lift it off, wash the cloth, and then maybe put some other stitching on there. So this would have been something that she would have stitched when she was a young girl. And even when she was even younger, she would have stitched this one. I'm so happy for this one. That was the first one I saw, and I love this flower. I have never seen this type of flower before. So colorful and beautiful and just amazing. I've seen these birds already on many of Jacob's samplers as well, but I've never seen them with this colorway. Like usually they are all stitched in one color, but she, you know, made the wings in different colors. These are supposedly her initials, because she was called Katharine Wilhelmine something Bolte. Again, her birth year. And it's so beautiful and colorful. And look at this beautiful flower. I have already charted this one, but I'm still looking for the right font from where these big letters, like the uppercase letters, came from. And Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery was so kind to point me into the direction of Bristol samplers, and I might have already found the matching font for this one. So I will have to see how I can make this available for you, because I want to make this one available, and the proceeds of selling this sampler is supposed to go towards our local museum for traditional garments and our traditions here in our local area. Because of course this type of museum, they all live from donations and from voluntary work. So I would have very much liked to support them. Anyway, so This was one that Sophie supposed that she was that she stitched when she was an even younger girl, like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, before she was before she had her confirmation. And you see again this kind of fabric that is sewn around here so that you can sew this panel onto this piece of linen. And the third one, also from Mrs. Bolte, is this one here. And you will see a change in colorway. It says her name on top here, Katharine Wilhelmine Bolte, but I suppose that she had a third first name, because it was actually quite common to have 3 first names here. Sometimes like your own name, and then the two names of either your parents, grandparents, or your godfathers or godmothers. So I only have 2 first names, but my father, his parents, my grandmother, they all had 3 first names. So I suppose, like, because she has like, you know, it says W and K, and it also says like C, W, and K on this one. So I suppose like C and W is for Katharina and Wilhelmine. But I would still have to find out what the K stands for. So again, her birth year 1921, and down here it says Vergänglichkeit ist der Erde Glück. So so translating this phrase is really not as simple as I thought, because so it says more or less evanescence is the earth's luck or fortune. I'm not a native speaker, so it kind of is hard for me to find the right translation for the word Glück, because the word Glück has many different translations in English. Like, for example, happiness, luck, fortune, you know, different names and different words with different meanings. So I think it's something in the sense of things that are volatile or that are passing are the essence of being alive. So because you value them more. At least that's my interpretation for this. Anyway, so what I also wanted to tell you is the color combination. The color combination lilac or deep purple and green is the color combination of grief in our traditional garments. So if you would go to a funeral, you would not necessarily wear all blacks, but also have like deep purple or green in your garments somewhere. And so on your vest and stitching on your vest and everything. So this is supposedly a stitching that she did when some of her parents or one of her parents passed away, because she still uses her maiden name. We know that she has been married and she had a different surname, but for me it sounds like or it seems like she kind of lost a relative that she wanted to commemorate with this stitching with, not with one with, take out one with, and that was also, you know, like stitched on this piece of fabric, and that was hanging in the hallway for at least a year during that mourning period. And as I said, I suppose that she did this for some relative because she used her maiden name in this one as well. But I think it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The color combination is great. We are not sure why it is so yellow down here. That was after Sophie washed it, and I suppose that must have been some kind of color that bled out of the green. So what is green? Green is a mixture of yellow and blue. So green is a mixture of yellow and blue. And I suppose that this is just the yellow color that bled out of the green. Nevertheless, so yeah. So these are the treasures that I was kindly gifted from my friend Sophie. We've been meeting a few times already, the women and I, for stitching together, mostly knitting and some crochet. And I came, or I visited them and talked about cross stitch for a while, and that was just wonderful to hear all of these old stories and to hear about this kind of home decor that was considered to be very showing off wealth, having these huge panels of heavy linen. That was a lot of money worth to those people in the past, and it's just amazing to see this again, this 100-year-old linen that is still, I don't know, it holds so much information, and it's just amazing. I was just happy to be able to look at this and to enjoy the colors and enjoy the history behind it. And I'm eager to chart all this and then to make them available and to gather some donations for our local museum. And I will inform you as soon as I'm ready with that. For now, I think that's all that I can show you today. As I said, I haven't been stitching that much. I even haven't been crocheting that much. I had a bad cold that knocked me out for like 3 weeks, and I had horrible headaches going along with them. So sitting down and concentrating and, you know, squinting my eyes and really doing something very intricate wasn't really possible. I will be I am organizing currently a stitch meeting again here in Hanover during one of these creative shows here in Hanover. If you're interested in that, I am linking downstairs also to my German video. If you here in the area and only know me through these English videos, I'm also doing German speaking videos. And if you want to meet me there, please come over to the German video and have a look into all the details that you would need to find me in Hanover at the end of April. And for now, the only thing that I have to say is goodbye and have a lovely Easter, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Bye bye, my friends.